Hi, I'm Ralph Amicis, one of the astrologers for Planetary Calendar, along with Lonnie Amicis. This is your forecast for July of 2017. Now, when I'm doing this forecast, I'm working with, of course, the calendar. After all, I use it too. And there it is, July. I'm also working with the charts. This is the chart, one of the charts for the lunations. In other words, full moon, new moon. I'm also working with our forecast. But within the forecast, you will see capital letters periodically. And they will show up again on the calendar. For instance, here is on the 4th, an A. What's it mean? It means that when you get to the 4th, you should go up and read the line that says A. When you get to, let's see, E, you should go up to the top and read the section that reads E. Now, in truth, you should read the whole forecast at the beginning of the month, but as the month goes on and one of these letters come up, go read that, because something's going on that you might want to know about. And we put that in there to make it more interactive, that the calendar and the forecast should be more interactive and more helpful to you. It's actually based upon my own experience with it. Now, if we talk about a particular forecast within that day, and you don't see that particular aspect in the aspect box, don't worry about it. The aspect is going on, but it will not be necessarily exact on that day. When we put it on the aspectarian, it's exact to the degree, the minute, and the second. But these aspects go on for days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months. But when we're talking about it, it's because either a planet is moving into a sign or it's a lunation, and that moon or sun are filling a particular point in the aspects that is making an ongoing aspect go loud, light up and really act out in the world. And you're going to see it come out in the news, for instance. So that's how it works. So when you don't see that, please don't call the publisher complaining. That's not how it works. Astrology is a series of influences that overlap each other in a cycle. So, with that said, let's look at July of 2017, which has 4 white box days in it. Pretty nice. 4 white box days, the 3rd, the 7th, the 14th, and the 18th, and only 1 black box. Or white circles, and 4 white circles, 1 black box. Pretty nice month. Now, black boxes don't mean it's a bad day. It just means that it's a stress day. Could be a good day. Some days you want to do a stress thing. The white circle days means there's nothing in your blocking your way, and there might be some things pushing you along in a positive way. Things will tend to flow a little more smoothly. To the forecast. Yes, July. This month flies by thanks to a quick Mercury, moving very, very quickly, and a fast Venus. Both of these inner planets are moving really, really quickly, and when that happens, projects move along too. It's just really interesting how that happens. When Mercury is moving fast, everything moves along fast, and Venus does the same thing. In other words, social interactions move along fast. You see that girl, you want to ask her out for a date. Next thing you do, you ask her for a date, she says yes, and next thing you know, you're out at a restaurant, and it was like, whoa, what happened? So if you feel like your projects have been delayed for any reason, you've been stuck, as you move into this month, it's a great time to move things along quickly. And things will really push you along. You're working with the current. Now, what's cool about this, most of the personal planets, these are the inner planets, and also, out to Jupiter, most of them, though Saturn's not quite there, are direct. They're not running backwards. So energies are more extroverted, more able to be accessed in the outer world, okay? Also, no planets are changing direction. No one is going retrograde or going direct. So you're not going to have those speed bumps. When a planet changes sign or it goes retrograde or direct, you'll get these little speed bumps where things just kind of get, it's like, just like in the car. You were driving along in the car, you had your coffee in your hand, you hit the speed bump because you weren't paying attention, and next thing you know, there's coffee all over the place. And you got to slow down, you got to wipe stuff off it, everything, put everything back together again. Wait, you don't have those happening. You don't have a lot of speed bumps this month. So things will tend to move along really well. As we said, the month flies by. Okay. On the 4th, this first one marked with an A, Venus enters the flirty, playful sign of Gemini. Now, Taurus was its ruling sign. It really liked it there. But when Venus moves into Gemini, like I said, loves to flirt. Good time for it. On the 5th, next day, Mercury enters dramatic, sweet-talking Leo. Okay, so if you're going to flirt, at least you have the words to say it with. And the nice thing about Mercury and Leo is it tends to speak from the heart. And this all happens just in time for the full moon on the 8th. Let's look at this full moon. Oh my gosh. The full moon takes place with the Sun conjunct Mars in Cancer. Okay, great time to cook a meal for someone you care about. But the moon is conjunct Pluto. So make sure you're in a good mood. You don't want to poison anybody. It's in Capricorn. Okay? I'm joking about that, but not entirely. So let's read it from here. Just in time for the full moon on the 8th. So summer romances are off to a good start. But beware, that full moon, conjunct Pluto like that, combines secrecy, passion, ambition, and a desire to trade up. You got Mars on one side, Pluto on the other side. Okay, there's a tendency to be a little secretive about that, people buying burner phones so they don't have to call people from their regular phones and have their spouse go searching their numbers to see who they're calling. Okay, they're not technically called burner phones, but you know what I mean. And the desire to trade up. Why? Because it's the moon in Capricorn. It's ambitious. Now, the moon in Capricorn is actually considered a weak position, but it is conjunct Pluto within a degree. So there's like a definitely secretive energy there. And it's interesting that when you look at Pluto through a telescope, they've taken pictures of it and it looks like there's a heart shape on it. Doesn't that say some interesting things about passion implicit in the plutonic energy? One possibility is a very optimistic future together. And the other is legal entanglements, so tread carefully. Yes, it could go either way. So just, stay in your integrity. If you find yourself feeling like you're starting to do things that are deceptive and don't feel right, bells should ring on in your head and say, wait a second, is this the pathway I want to take? Okay? And think about it. It might be. We don't know. We don't judge here. From the 9th through the 15th is a string of pleasant aspects. Isn't that nice? On the 14th, it's the culmination of that expressive Sun Trine Moon following the full moon. The Sun Trine Moon after a full moon is the fruiting period. It's where all the energy that's been going on, remember, flowers are there to create fruit. The flowers are the full moon. The Sun Trine Moon after the full moon is the fruit period. Right? That's when the fruit appears in the seed, packed with seeds. But that void of course on that same day is basically kind of solved by the fact that the moon is in Pisces. And when the moon is in Pisces, which is one of Jupiter's traditional rulers, it's Pisces, Sagittarius, or it's in the signs of the moon, which is essentially Cancer and Taurus, full moons are not active. They don't function that way. And the reason is these signs are so strong for the moon that the moon tends to be self-directed with a distinctive feminine flavor. It's a little bit like saying, in a household, a woman is sent out to go do the shopping, and Jupiter says, Saturn says, go out and pay the taxes. And then the sun says, and go out and buy me some clothes, But there's a certain point there when the sun is in these signs where she's going out and she's taking care of the stuff that she wants to take care of. That's when it's void of course. It's not being directed by these big planets, but it's in such a strong sign for her. Jupiter said, oh, go do whatever you want to go do. Or it's in the sign of the moon and the sun. It's saying, the sign of the moon are the signs of the moon, which are Cancer and Taurus. It's saying she has her own money. She's an independent woman with her own money. So when you see void of courses, look to see if it's in the sign of Jupiter, which are the signs of Jupiter with Pisces, Sagittarius, and the signs of the moon, Taurus, and Cancer, and realize that that void of course is not so much of a problem, which is the situation on the 14th, okay, when you get that trine, that the Sun Trine Moon going on. It's kind of it's astrology, and I realize it's a little complicated, but it's something that if you're using this calendar, you've got some foundation in astrology, and it's not that unusual concept, because each planet, each body has their own strengths, and they have particular signs in which they're stronger or weaker. That's what's called the dignities. On the 20th, and this is marked with an E, on the 20th, Mars moves from rather introspective Cancer to extroverted Leo. Okay, so when that happens on that 20th, expect some over-the-top turbulence. You know, it's like the lion has appeared in the room. And this is all just happening in time for the 22nd, marked with an F, for when the sun enters royal Leo. So the lion jumps in the room and the king follows him in, or the queen follows him in, okay? By the new moon on the 23rd, every personal planet in the chart is in masculine signs, right? With the sun, moon, and Mars at the beginning of Leo within 2 degrees of each other. You know, we started the year, January, February, in a very, very feminine energy, and we are now in a very masculine Leonine energy as the sun moves into Leo. Okay, so those days around there, you're going to feel a real shift. And the thing about Leo, though, is Leo is the heart. Leo is courage. Leo is drama. Find ways to do stuff that fulfills that. You know, don't hide your light under a rock. You know, be out there a bit. You know, be a little more dramatic. Allow yourself to relish that. Allow yourself to express that. What else is going on? Now, this is at the new moon. And from this new moon through August, you're going to feel like you're in a stage play. The drama, the comedy, the passion, the generosity, the grand gestures, and of course, the music. Even Mercury entering practical Virgo on the 25th will not be able to tone this down. Because when he does that, on the 25th, Mercury passes over the royal star Regulus, which in the stars in the sidereal zodiac is the heart of the lion. It's one of the 4 royal stars, the stars that denoted east, west, north, south in ancient times. This is the lion's heart, coração, as they say in Portuguese. Coração in Spanish. Yes. On the 31st, Venus enters feminine Cancer, and it does its sextile Mercury with the moon in watery Scorpio. So after all this masculinity, you're going to have a very, very womanly perceptiveness and charm, which is going to restore some of the sexual balance to the world. Good thing too, because it was getting a little hot in here. So it's a very, very interesting month. Enjoy. It's a little complicated. You might want to watch this video again. And in any case, I'm Ralph Amicis. This is the Planetary Calendars forecast for July 2017. Come back and visit with us for next month for the August forecast here at spaceandtime.com.